An 8K camera that doesn't overheat and takes amazing 61 megapixel pictures. This is a video camera you can trust. What makes camcorders so great is they can run all day long without overheating. And the reason they can do that is they have a tiny sensor. But what if you wanted that full frame glory with a blurry background and the low light sensitivity and all the magic that full frame has to offer? Well, up until recently, running a full frame camera all day long resulted in the thing overheating and shutting down. Well, not anymore. That's what this video is about. You know, my A7S3, all the S's would overheat, my A7Cs would overheat, everything I use would overheat. I know there's the cinema cameras, the FS5, FS6, FS7, FS9, and all those, but those aren't camcorders and those aren't these kind of cameras that people like to use that are really small and fun and easy to use. So they finally made one. That's what this video is about. This is an A7RV. I made a video about this before. It's a great picture-taking camera, really high resolution because the 61 megapixel sensor. Wow. It's got the biggest viewfinder of any Sony camera you can get, 9.44 million. That's the same as the A1, the A1 II, the A9 III, and the A7S3. Huge viewfinder, amazing stuff. 8-stop sensor shift stabilization, all the great stuff, all the wonderful things that a full frame camera can give you. But the reason I got it is because it shoots in 8K. Whoa, Marcus, you, an 8K camera? After everything you've been saying, you know, hold on there, Bucky. Yeah, there's one reason I needed an 8K camera, and that is we do recipe videos, and I need to have an overhead shot, and it's a big counter, and I need to be able to zoom in on something really close when she's doing some fine work on something. And that's the only reason I need an 8K camera, but it's an important reason. My big fear was, you know, all right, this thing's up there on a pole, and I can't get to it. I'm sure it's going to shut down after 10 minutes running in 8K. It's going to overheat. But it never did. There was one recipe video that ran for an hour, and the thing, I thought for sure the thing shut off. I mean, I didn't hear it shut off, but I'm sure it did. And I climb up the ladder, and it's still running. I go, whoa! And then I just kept realizing this thing never overheats, no matter what mode it's in. I just did an interview with this thing, and I had it running for almost 5 hours. It was in 1080, but it kept running. And the thing never overheated, never shut down. Pretty damn amazing. There are times where I'm doing video all day long, and I just don't want to worry about the damn thing overheating or shutting down. All my other cameras would always overheat. This thing doesn't. So that's why I got it, because dependability for running on video mode. Make sure you set the auto power off temperature to high. Now in 8K, it runs at 24 frames per second, 10-bit 420, at 200 or 400 megabits per second, and it uses the entire 61 megapixel sensor when it does. Obviously, if you're going to run this for a long time, I suggest the 200 megabits per second, not the 400, especially if it's a hot day and you're worried about overheating. If you want 4K 60, it's at 10-bit 422. It goes in a Super 35 crop mode. You might think, oh, but I want full frame. No, Hollywood shoots in Super 35. Come on. Right now, I'm shooting with this camera. Right now, you're watching me in 4K 60, which is the Super 35. But again, it's oversampled from 6.2K, so you're getting like amazing quality, really good quality. And if you want 120, it does 1080. That's what you get in 1080. But I don't care about any of that. I just care that the fact that it shoots in 8K and I can crop in. I don't care what the frame rate is, as long as I can get a nice video that I can crop into, and that it runs all day long, no matter what I'm doing, and it won't overheat. That's just my experience. Maybe your experience is different, but this is just my experience I'm sharing with you. That's why I've been using this for almost 2 years now, and I like it so much I got 2 of them because I know I can depend on this thing. It takes great video, even at 1080. Here's some videos I did recently in 1080, and look how good that is. At 1080, it's good enough. And I definitely know this thing is not going to overheat. I could run this thing for 8 hours, and it was never going to overheat in 1080. Here's some more footage I shot with 1080-60 with this camera. Look at the quality. This is 1080. This is because it's downsampling from an 8K sensor. So again, this is 4K 60 right now that you're watching me at. Not that I ever need to do 4K 60, but I just wanted to show you what it looks like. What else? It takes great pictures. Here's some pictures I took with it. I mean, 61 megapixels is so sharp that I had to actually put skin smoothing on low. Otherwise, you're getting every single skin pore and wrinkle, and it's too clinical and too sharp at that resolution. So have skin smoothing on low if you're going to do picture. It works in video too. So in pictures and video, skin smoothing works. That's really cool. but it does run a little on the blue side. It uses a bluish cyan color, so I find it's best to always warm it up by a couple hundred. So if you're shooting daylight, have it at 5800. These pictures are taken at 5800 and it's just perfect. The skin tones are just right. Whatever it is you're doing, warm it up by a couple hundred more than you normally would with other cameras. So that's the one thing about this. It runs a little on the cool side, but you can adjust for that. That's just me. That's just my experience. That's all I know. I mean, you can find other specs, whatever, online. I just thought I'd give you my experience. If you want a camera that runs all day without overheating, this is my experience, the best one that's in this form factor. And it shoots 8K, which is rare for an 8K camera to run that long without overheating. What else? $3,500. I saw it on Walmart on the website for $2,800. That's kind of interesting. All right. Well, there you go. Full frame camera, 8K, runs all day without overheating. That's the main thing that I care about this. That, again, is just my experience. Your experience might be different, but that's what I find, and I found it dependable. Just turn it on and forget about it. And I could just sit there and talk for hours, and I just don't have to worry about it. And remember to turn the auto off power temperature to high. That's part of the reason it could run so long. It also really helps to use a dummy battery so the battery doesn't get hot and heat up the camera, especially if you're shooting 8K. Plus, you don't have to worry about the battery running out if you're shooting all day long. I normally shoot 1080, sometimes 4K. So, I mean, when I do 1080 though, it's 60. So, again, that's double the amount of information that it's gathering. 1080 60 is about the same amount of information, I guess, as 4K 24 or something like that. Anyway, whatever. I just thought I'd share this stuff with you. If you want something that runs all day long dependably, here you go. A7RV, super high quality. I share my experience with you. I hope you enjoy. See you on the next video. Okay, bye.